We didn't decorate for Christmas at all, didn't put a tree up. It was too hard for us to do that. What's the point in celebrating when we were in the midst of the hardest time of our lives? We usually love to do that. We get really excited to put lights up and trees and decorate and whatnot, but there was no amount of excitement or joy for us. There was just fear and frustration and sadness. So,
I mean, of course, first off, Haley got pregnant, which was awesome. And so we were very excited about having our first kid.
When I was 18 weeks pregnant, I had a great pregnancy. I had a lot of nausea, but that was about it. We were told that I was having a threatened miscarriage and there wasn't anything I could do about it, but I got very sick and I can't remember a lot. But they said, Haley, we have to get your baby out now.
She went in, had an emergency C-section. I think it was 7 or 8 minutes from door to baby, from ER doors to baby. And, doctor came out, said, you have a son. We didn't know at the time because we were going to wait to find out. And
when you see your baby and your baby fits in the palms of the nurses as they, they'd have to lift him to weigh him. And they say, you can touch him, but don't rub him because it can irritate his skin and he can have breathing issues. All these things are like, what? This isn't how it should be. This is never, ever, ever what we wanted to have happen. We wanted to go full term and have that beautiful birthing experience and take our baby home 2 days later. And
for the first few days, the first 3 to 5 days were really critical. So he was he couldn't be moved. And the first time we saw him, we just couldn't believe how small he was. My wedding ring could fit around his whole leg. He had, it's called necrotizing enterocolitis, I think it's called. And basically it's a illness that gets into your intestines and kind of just bursts them from the wall inside. And so we went down to Vanderbilt, which we didn't think was going to be as long of a stay as it was, but it ended up being 15 weeks. Harrison's belly was big and gray, and he was having trouble breathing, and so he ended up having a surgery where they removed 3/4 of his small intestine.
Even if Harrison weren't healthy or weren't with us or was still in the hospital, whatever, it doesn't change what had happened. The Lord was still with us through all of that, and we got to see how he interceded in the hardest moments, even though we didn't feel it at that time. We could look back and know that there was a reason to have hope and to rejoice.
Considering what they were telling us, he had a 10 to 20% chance of living when he was born, and asking me, do you want us to resuscitate him if he's not breathing, to him starting to walk and say, hi, Dad, and stuff like that. It's just hey, buddy. I know that's just that's God. It has to be, because statistically speaking, he shouldn't be here. We knew that the only way we were ever going to be able to get through this tough time and this whole situation and just the challenges that come with, that whole situation of him being born, the only way we're going to get through it is if we do rely on God, even if it doesn't make sense, even if we don't understand why. But I think that's where that's what leads to peace, is I don't have to know all the answers. I don't have to know why. I don't have to know what the circumstances are. I don't have to get the circumstances. But if I can just be comfortable enough in trusting that God is in control of it, even if it doesn't make sense, there is peace in that. You don't have to sit and worry, because it's well, I don't know what's going to happen with him, but God's got him this far, and it's God's kid, so he's going to do what he's going to do. And there is comfort in that, because it really is out of our control.
Looking back, in that moment, that's all we're going to think. But looking back, gosh, who knows, how much Harrison's story has changed our lives. I don't know who else's lives he's impacted. But ours alone, I don't know what we'd be without Harrison and what God has done through his life, who we'd be without him. This is, as much as I hate to say, it's exactly the story that was supposed to happen. And I would have changed it in a heartbeat if I could have. I would have done anything to change what happened. But the sovereignty that we got to experience, and the hope and the peace and the love and the joy through all of this that we got to experience was something that I never thought would happen in the beginning.